Is it even possible to make a resume to help a beginner break into tech nowadays? It feels like no matter how many applications you put out there, nobody even bothers reading them anymore. It feels like you're a piece of meat. Should you just give up and start farming? Of course not, because this is my full blueprint to help you make a developer resume that will get you hired in 2024 despite what's happening in the job market. So let me tell you a short story. 3 years ago I was working with one of my students. Let's call him Michael. And Michael was good at coding. He's passionate, he's a quick learner, and he's actually interested in the art and science of coding. But Michael has one big problem. No matter how hard he tries, he keeps failing the third interview round over and over, and for some reason this always happens with the best developers. Maybe it's the universe testing them, I have no clue. What I know is that both me and him, after so many close calls and after so many rejections, are frustrated, and we discussed to stop playing by the rules and decided to make a little tweak to his resume. After this tiny change, he finally started getting more interviews, recruiters were taking him more seriously, and after 2 months he got hired as a bathroom cleaner at a startup. I'm only joking, he got a senior developer position making $120,000 a year, and fast forward a couple of years, he is now a tech lead, making pretty good cash, and he's working from home and lives a pretty good life with his kids and family. That was unexpected, but it goes to show how a little change can make a huge difference and how important it is to have an absolute killer resume. And since that day, I've been using those same principles that got Michael hired to help all my other students build a killer resume. And today I'm gonna walk you through how to do that in 4 steps. By the way, if you are new to the channel, my name is Christian. I used to be a barista. I taught myself how to code. I did all the traveling, the making money stuff, and now I'm here to help the next generation of remote developers. But now let's get into the resume building. So the first thing you want to understand to craft a killer resume is that your resume is the way you position yourself in the job market. The only thing that matters in every market is your value and what you bring to the table. So what is value? Employers are looking for reliable, motivated, independent, and highly skilled engineers. Reliability, motivation, and independence are soft skills that can't be measured directly, and only time can tell what a person is truly made of. So then employers rely on testing you over multiple interview rounds. They are testing your hard skills like coding and problem solving, and here's the bummer: how many years you have under your belt. Those years under your belt are proof that you have done this in the past, so then you could potentially do it again for them. So no matter how good you are in an interview, if you don't have the years, your chances of getting that job get cut by 90%, because employers are trying to avoid hiring a false positive. A false positive is someone who looks good in an interview but performs poorly in a job setting. And there's a saying in hiring training that goes slow to hire and quick to fire. And tech employers take multiple rounds of interviews to find the right candidate, because a bad hire can cost them tens of thousands of dollars spent in the hiring process, training, and cost of opportunity of not having their work done. They would rather not hire a good person than hire a false positive. I went on LinkedIn, the cringiest platform on the internet, and analyzed 100 full stack developer job posts, and this is the list of technologies that appeared most often. So we have React.js mentioned 47,000 times. We have Node.js frequently mentioned alongside React.js with 43,000 job posts. Then we have JavaScript and TypeScript mentioned 300,000 times. Then we have AWS mentioned 5,000 times. Java appears in 343,000 job posts. We have Vue.js mentioned 200 times. And then we have GraphQL mentioned in 4,000 job posts, which was a surprise to me because I thought GraphQL is more or less dead. Then we have HTML and CSS mentioned 1 billion times. We have Ruby on Rails mentioned 4,000 times. And then we have SQL databases mentioned 433,000 times in job postings. And I was shocked. I thought no SQL databases like MongoDB would be more popular, but I was wrong. I guess that's why we need market research. Remember, you don't need to know all these technologies to get a developer job. Right now we are just doing some market research. And these are the bonuses that appear most often. So we have experience with AI and generative AI and LLMs. I will actually make a video about this coming next week, because I thought about showing you how to use LLMs like ChatGPT to get the most out of them without handicapping yourself. Then we have passion for UI design and UX design. I don't think it means becoming a designer, but being able to understand designs while developing the user interfaces. Then we have experience with agile methodologies. This means being able to collaborate effectively in a team. Again, this sounds like a lot, but again, I can make a video about this in the future. Just let me know in the comments if you're curious about a day in the life of a developer. Then we have experience with RESTful APIs, experience with data-driven product development. This means working with plugins that track different metrics like heat maps, where you can see how users interact with your application, making sense of the data, and then improving the user experience. It also means tracking bugs and errors and fixing them as they appear in production. Experience with running front-end experiments. In my opinion, this means looking at UI, UX trends and making sure you are on the cutting edge, as cringe as it sounds, of how an app should look and behave. And these are the soft skills that appear most often. So we have communication skills, indicating the importance of effective written and verbal communication in collaborating with teams and stakeholders, being able to explain technical things to non-technical people, writing docs, emails, and as a bonus, not wanting to kill your manager. Then we have problem-solving skills, we have collaboration and teamwork, leadership and mentorship, adaptability and flexibility, attention to detail, empathy and inclusivity, project management skills, and being able to collaborate with people from different cultures. The second step is to actually understand why these technologies pop up so often and what they are able to do by using a process called reverse engineering. This is gonna be massive, so pay fucking attention. If I tell a Google engineer to build a to-do app, in 1 hour I'll have a perfectly polished and deployed product with all the bells and whistles. If I tell a toddler, a 7-year-old toddler, build a to-do app, I'll have to break down the process into as many steps as possible, like open your laptop, press the top right button, wait for 15 seconds, type the password, press enter, wait 10 seconds, click on the Chrome icon, type in the search bar CodePen.io and press enter, and so on and so forth. The less skilled you are, the more detailed instructions the employer has to give you. So let's look at the list of popular technologies that we talked about earlier. So we have React, Node, JavaScript, TypeScript, AWS, Java, Vue, GraphQL, HTML and CSS, Ruby on Rails, and SQL databases. If we arrange this into steps, we will have something that looks like this. We have HTML and CSS, then we have JavaScript, then we have React or Vue, then we have TypeScript, then we have Node or Java or Python, and then we have SQL databases, and then we have AWS. I left out Ruby and GraphQL because I don't think they will be useful for a noob to learn. And each one of these technologies will be a wall in your house, and you have to add brick by brick to it every single day. I'm going to tell you how to do that in a second. So you need to ask yourself, why do I need this technology? How can I use it? You want to find an example of it being used in the real world, and then learning the 20% of it, the theory, and then applying it 80% of the time in practical projects. You start from the top of the list and you ask yourself those questions. You apply the steps I mentioned above, you max out what you can do with a certain technology, then you move to the next thing. Here's what you'll experience if you do this right. Oh, you can make pixel perfect websites. That means you know HTML and CSS. Oh, you can make relatively complex apps with JavaScript, but it gets harder and harder to manage your code base. Okay, then learn React or Vue. You don't know how to use React or Vue, but the only thing you can do is the front end, then learn Node.js. If you want to stick with JavaScript, or if you want to learn a new language, learn Java or Python. Okay, you made the server with those languages, but your projects can only run locally. Go on AWS and deploy your server. You need to save some data. Well, now it's time to learn a database. If you max out every step, the next step will make sense and become vital. Okay, it's gonna be very organic. Going to the next step will make you max out the previous steps as well. Okay, so everything starts to build on top of the other thing, and then it becomes very exponential. All right, Christian, this video was about resumes. Why are you telling me about learning? Because for our resume trick to work, you need the skills. I can give you a resume, put Google and Meta on it, you'll get interviews, and then you will fail them. Do you really want that? No. So you need to use this framework to be able to back up the claims you'll be making on your resume, because we'll be going fucking nuts. Next step is to get you some experience so you can actually pass the interviews. So what is experience? Let's define it. Everyone pedestalizes this word because it seems impossible to get without being offered work. Far from the truth. Yes, in a real job, you'll get a lot of experience because you'll be mentored by other people and then you'll work on real projects, but nobody stops you from getting experience by yourself at home. So what are the steps to get experience? There are actually two phases. You have learning and then you have building. The first phase is all about learning your foundational skills. Did you already learn your HTML, CSS, JavaScript and React or Vue as we saw in the first list? And this honestly should take maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months, and then you get into the building phase. And this is where most people get it wrong. They think their foundational skills are the skills that employers are looking for, but what employers are looking for are people who can build fully fledged products. Someone that can take ownership of a code base, someone that is reliable, someone that is consistent, someone that knows how to work in a team, someone who can produce great results for the end user, for the customer of the product the company is building for. This is where juniors fail. They think that if they can set up a Node.js server or an e-commerce website or a weather app, they are somehow worthy of a job. Sir, you are delusional and it's not your fault, but it's your problem. And so if you want to get the experience building for the customer, then you need to start approaching every application that you'll be building from now on after watching this video with one single question in your mind. Would you pay for this? Would you or would you not? If the answer is no, ask yourself why. Is it because your app is useless? Is it because your app looks like dog shit? Is it because it's not complex enough? Is it because you don't care about this detail here, this detail there, and you just want to make some quick money? Because if that's the case, you'll not get a job this year, next year, and not even in 2050. And that's okay, because this career is not for everyone. It's highly competitive. We need to be extremely skilled, or you need to be extremely skilled, extremely smart, extremely dedicated to the development process. And some people are literally made to flip burgers at McDonald's, and some people are made to make good money. And if that's you, you need to start thinking in this way or not. It's up to you. I'm just a guy from the internet who is selling a course or a mentorship program, and I'm also from Romania. Like, it can't get any worse than this. All right, so step 3, you know the actions that you need to take to become that person. Now we have to start leveling you up with XP points. So how do we go about becoming that person that is extremely obsessed with the customer and with the code base that you are going to create and with the application that you are going to build, okay? I'm going to assume that if you are at this step, you are already done with your learning phase. If not, take some notes. If you are not done with your learning phase, make sure that you join my free community, second link in the description, and you can start learning from scratch how to code and how to become a web developer, okay? If you're at the stage where you want to get a job, I want you to lock in for the next 3 to 6 months. I don't want you to look at news about coding. I don't want you to go on Reddit threads anymore. I want you to stop watching stupid coding influencers on YouTube that make you feel good about your situation. I want you to stop applying to jobs if you are currently applying, and I want you to lock in and build a big ass project. A project that is so big, so scary, you don't even know where to start building it. Now you might be wondering, okay, how do I do this? Because it's so complicated, I cannot do this. Well, you don't know yet, but you'll figure it out because you have the ability to find a solution to any problem that is given to you. Remember, one of the things that these people are looking for is problem solving, and you cannot solve a problem if you already know the solution. So right now you are actually developing the skill of problem solving. You are developing that skill of independence, of being able to navigate this whole space. You'll gain the character traits that these people are looking for, and then once you are locking in for a few months building this application, you'll come back stronger and smarter and way more skilled, and you'll come across as this amazing person in the interview. And yeah, maybe you won't have 5 years of experience under your belt, but when they will see that you learned all these things by yourself in just a few months, they will 100% take you over some dude that has 5 years of experience and doesn't give a fuck about their job. You actually have the upper hand, but you need to treat yourself like you are the underdog and like you have a lot of things to show and prove, and you need to lower your ego. If you believe you don't need to build this 3 to 6 month product, that means you face a lot of resistance right now and you think you're better than you are. Trust me, you learn so much creating a new map in your React app, or by creating another endpoint in your Node.js, or by doing this or by doing that, like hundreds of times. Remember what Bruce Lee said? I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. That's how you get experience, because you'll be getting exposure. You'll be exposed to the same thing so many times that you'll internalize every single concept, and you'll be able to do it from the back of your mind without even thinking. Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what experience is? And on top of that, you'll encounter things that you never encountered before. It's way better than reading books like a nerd all day and having only Pokemon and calculator apps in your lame portfolio. Let's talk about XP points. Inspired by my uncle's World of Warcraft adventures, where actions like slaying creatures and collecting items earned him XP for skills, similarly in coding, completing tasks, even mundane ones, add up like XP, making you smarter. I don't recommend World of Warcraft because my uncle got divorced because of it, so please don't get into that. So track task difficulty on a scale of 1 to 10. For instance, adding a drop-down in your app is a 3, creating a server is a 10, deploying it is also a 10, changing a button color is a 1. Aim for 1000 points by completing tasks with assigned difficulty points to become a total fucking G. Step 4. You actually build your resume, highlighting the traits that you know these employers want, and sell your skills by backing them up with the actual experience that you acquired. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm using different services from Fiverr, Upwork to have my resume done for my students, and most of the time I A/B test different resumes. For example, one student is using one resume, another student another one, slightly different one. Another student might use 2 resumes. This is not an exact science and things change every time, so you have to test and pay for premiums. Don't go for the cheap stuff. Go and find people, pay them 200, 300 bucks to get your resume done. Because these people know how to do it better, and each resume is going to be adapted for your own unique situation. But once you do this market research like I've done for you, you can try to highlight how you showed certain traits in the app that you've built, okay? So everything goes back to the app. There is no one single trick that's going to solve all your problems. Everything goes back to your app, and the app is a reflection of your skills. So then at the end of the day, your skills will get you the job, okay? So you look at the skills that these employers want, and you make sure that you highlight how you use the skill and what outcome the skill had for you. So for example, if you say something like I installed Redux, well, you sound like a noob. If you say I created a dark mode on my app, well, you sound like a noob again. You need to think about key actions that you actually took inside the app. Like for example, I've implemented a notification system across the full stack using WebSockets, where if people are adding a task in their to-do app, other users will be notified by that. I'm just giving you an example. But it sounds like, okay, this guy or girl actually did something, not just install Redux. If you are too focused on the code and how difficult it was for you to learn how to code, and I've seen this a lot, trust me, when you say I installed Redux, it's like saying I've learned how to use a function. Yeah, it was difficult for you, but it's something that is required and it's something that is expected. You're not going to impress anyone if you talk about that. Now, a little bonus for the people that are still watching. First of all, I want to congratulate you, because not many people have the attention span to watch a video this long. They're already looking for another TikTok that's going to give them a quick tip. They are looking for the next video that's gonna stroke their ego, and they are missing the point. But again, that's fine. That's your competition. Your competition is ultra lame, and your competition is wasting their time trying to find tips and tricks. I know that if you are here, you're a hard-working person, so I'm going to give you the unfair advantage that me and my student used to get him hired, that I'm still using right now. We are, let's say, lying, and we are using a company that I have created. And the reason why we do that is because every single time after a student of mine got hired, they used to receive hundreds of compliments and praises. Their employers couldn't believe they were noobs. They couldn't believe they are juniors because they were so good. And remember, Michael got hired as a senior. I have another student right now that is interviewing for a senior position because they are really good. Because they are doing this process of building an app for a very long period of time. That's why I keep telling you about it in every single video. Not because I'm bored at home and I don't know what to do, but it's because this is what can work for you. This is what's going to get you the experience, okay? So here's one of the resumes that I'm using right now for my students. I hide the company that we are going to put in there, but you can see the exact text that we are using, so you can potentially use it as well. But again, if you do not have the product to back up whatever you are saying in the resume, then the resume is pretty much useless because they are just a bunch of words in a PDF. But that's the approach that we are following in the mentorship program. Build the foundational set of skills, then go into building a product with other people so you can learn how to be a part of a team, such as what those people are asking for in the job description. And if you want to be part of my program where I teach you coding, where you can get feedback from me in live calls and much more, click on the first link in the description. That's the first link. If you want to try my stuff for free before you join, click on the second link in the description. You have 4 of my courses for free, and in April we'll run a competition where you can win an M2 MacBook Air. You can choose the color. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.